This courtroom video is absolute chaos from start to finish. A man calling himself a sovereign citizen is facing charges for driving with a suspended license, failing to display his license, and having an expired vehicle tag, but he refuses to follow the law. Right away, he shocks the courtroom by claiming he was traveling instead of driving, insisting that traffic laws simply don't apply to him. The judge and prosecutor are clearly baffled, but he keeps doubling down, refusing to listen or cooperate. Then he pulls out the big guns, citing the 14th Amendment and claiming every citizen has the right to travel without interference from the police. He even argues that automobiles existed during the time of horse-drawn carriages, so driver's licenses are somehow unconstitutional. The courtroom can hardly believe what they're hearing. As if that's not enough, he starts trying to negotiate fines and community service like it's a bargaining session at a flea market, leaving the judge visibly frustrated. Every attempt by the judge to steer him toward a resolution is met with more arguments, tangents, and outright refusal to cooperate. The tension escalates, voices rise, and eventually, he walks out of the hearing, possibly setting himself up for even more legal trouble. This video captures the jaw-dropping clash between fringe legal theories and real-world law, showing just how far some people will go to challenge the system, and how patience and authority collide in the courtroom. Every second is wild, frustrating, and impossible to look away from.
Yes, okay. I hear you.
So you're before the court on 2019 CR 04954 for driving on a suspended or revoked license, no license, failure to display license, or failure to have license on person. I'm not sure, it cuts off, and no tag or expired or invalid tag. So that's on the first case. On the case from 2020 03114, you have a suspended or revoked license. You're represented by Lister and Holt on one of the cases, but not on the other. Did you want Lister and Holt to represent you, or did you want to represent yourself?
I'll represent myself.
On both cases?
Yes, ma'am. I have a quick question as far as law concern when it comes to driver's license.
Okay.
Okay, you're only allowed to have one driver's license, and I have an Alabama driver's license. So when I get pulled over, I actually show them my Alabama driver's license, and it's current. It's the most current, and so they make a determination if they should go off the Georgia driver's license or the Alabama driver's license. And when I present the Alabama driver's license, they let me go because my Alabama license is valid, and you're only allowed to have one. And I had Alabama license. So
I believe this sounds like a not guilty.
Okay, so Mr. Resto, what Mr. Taylor is saying is this is something that you could prove at trial. If you present that information at trial, then that means you want to go to trial instead of taking a plea. I don't know what the recommendation is, and I don't know.
Well, the recommendation was, I think I've been dealing with this case for an awful long time now, so yeah. I don't really want to go to trial. I just want to get it behind me. But I think that I remember the recommendation quite clear. They offered me 40 hours of community service. Is that still on the table?
Okay, no, Mr. Resto, it's more than that. No, it's more than that. So the basic fines and fees for driving on a suspended license is the first time in 5 years. If you get one, then you can enter a NOLO plea if you have a NOLO plea eligible to you, and then the fine is $500. But if you get a second one, the fine goes to $1,000. A third one, the fine goes to $1,500 and 10 days mandatory jail time. You have a second one, which means that you might be able to enter a NOLO to the first one, but then the second one is outstanding. So when you took a plea to the second one, that would definitely suspend your license. So that's what's on the table.
Okay, now if I enter like an oral motion of dismissal based on constitutional grounds, are you standing on your constitutional oath?
Okay, I'm not sure what that is. So I have taken an oath to uphold the Constitution and to make sure that I treat people as the law would direct me to do so. So,
Okay. Well, I asked this question previously when I was in your courtroom one day in regards to the right to travel under the 14th Amendment, stating that citizens do not need a permit to travel with a horse-drawn carriage, wagon, or automobile without interference by police. And I was on a public highway actually when I got pulled over. So
okay, so
highway.
that's not actually in the Constitution.
And
So
I don't believe
the right
automobiles
to
were
travel.
around when the 14th Amendment was ratified.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
I just wanted to point out to the court that automobiles hadn't been invented when the 14th Amendment was ratified. That
Yeah,
may have been effective.
it says automobile, horse-drawn wagon, or carriage.
Okay,
So
so
an
Mr.
automobile is not necessarily a car if it's a household good. It's just a form of transportation. It doesn't matter if it's an automobile, horse-drawn wagon, or carriage, because it's still a form of transportation, and citizens have the right to travel without interference by police. So I don't even know how the police are even allowed to interfere with travel when I'm not using my vehicle for commerce.
Your Honor,
And it's
Hold
a
on, Mr.
totally
Taylor.
private household.
If somebody drove 100 miles an hour into the back of your vehicle and killed your a family member, would you want the police to interfere?
That's a murder. I mean, that's if someone got killed.
But they're traveling. You can't interfere with somebody traveling.
No, I mean you can't. It's stating that a police just can't interfere with your traveling, like pulling you over for a traffic violation or a tag.
But you
You're
want
not.
them to
You can't.
interfere if
Now,
somebody.
if you murder somebody because of
Well, it's okay.
sovereign.
Say you don't murder them. Say you just hurt them. Say you just damaged the vehicle. You don't want the police to interfere.
No, that because that's when it almost becomes like an accident or a crime or whatnot. So the police can. That's not really an interference. An interference with your traveling, not an interference when two citizens engage in an accident. It's interfering with you just traveling. Now, police officers, as far as public servants, they have a duty to serve to the people. So if a car accident occurs, then of course public servants, as far as ambulance, as far as firemen, they will come to the scene just as a service. But for you to just interfere in my traveling is actually a violation of the Constitution.
Well, sir, the Constitution and the cases that have come out of the constitutional jurisprudence allow cities and states and municipal organizations to regulate travel for the benefit of the citizens. So they can put reasonable regulations on travel, meaning you can have a license. They can grant you the privilege of having a license to drive. They can regulate how your license is seen. If you don't have a license, or if your license is suspended, they can intervene to take your license away or your privilege to drive away. It is a crime. You can be convicted of not driving under a proper license. So the government is allowed to intervene in a lot of ways with people traveling. So I'm not sure where this information comes from, but there's a lot of stuff on the internet about traveling and the 14th Amendment and horse and buggies and even maritime law. But
I mean,
of those
an
things are not true.
automobile was actually created before a driver's license was ever created. People
Okay.
was actually their case pamphlets where people was actually operating vehicles before a driver's license ever became. That's actually, you guys are actually a conflict of interest. Actually, as far as you being in cahoots with the DMV, that's a totally separate entity.
Okay,
And for
so
some reason,
Mr. Resto, do you want to resolve the case, because it's not
I
going to
want to
be
resolve the
40
case. But
hours of
I disagree with the fine amount because it changed. I would I would make an offer like I can do $1,000, maybe 12-month probation. But
Mr. Resto.
$2,000, that's excessive.
Mr. Resto, we're not negotiating. Those are statutory fines, meaning they're written into the law. I can't even change them.
Can I make a counter offer to the state and say it's $1,000? Can that be?
No,
Because I did do
sir.
time in jail. If the state would see that and count.
That's why I'm saying that you may want to speak with an attorney, because certain things that they can negotiate, I can't change the statute. I can't change what's written in it, but they can negotiate. And if the solicitor wants to give you credit for time in jail in lieu of the fine, those are things that they can do that I can't do.
Yeah. So I would ask to the district attorney, knowing that I did serve some days in jail, can you guys
Okay.
lower the fine and I just go ahead and end this
So,
case right now? I can do 1,000. I got $1,000 right now,
Mr.
and
Mr.
huh?
Resto, so that's a conversation that you need to have with them directly without me being present, number one. Number two, the reason I keep saying you might want to go through your attorney is because they can explain to you what is already on the table and how that may or may not change, okay?
What's on the table now, man?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I would rather you have that conversation in a breakout room with the attorney who's assigned to your case and with the state, as opposed to here in the main room. One, because I have other cases that need to be addressed, and two,
Okay.
because that's not information I need to hear.
Okay. Is it anything I can do to get this case resolved now? Because it's been lingering on
I'm
my
telling
head
you what to
for
do, but you're
years.
not listening, Mr. Reston. Mr.
I mean,
Resto,
today, like I want to resolve this today.
I get that you want to resolve it today, and I'm telling you what to do, but you're not listening to me. I said you can go into a breakout room with your attorney, and the attorney and you can discuss what's already on the table. And then if your attorney wishes to speak with the state to clarify anything, they can do that too. But you're not going to get it resolved by going back and forth with me, because there's
Okay.
stuff I cannot do.
Okay. Just tell the state that I'll take their recommendation. I'll just pay the 2,000 if they can give me 12 months to pay it off. And
Okay,
if I
but
can, and if I pay it
sir,
off early, if my probation can be terminated.
This courtroom hearing is nothing short of unbelievable. From the moment it begins, it's clear that this will not be a typical session. A man who identifies himself as a sovereign citizen is facing charges for driving with a suspended license, failing to display his license, and having an expired or invalid vehicle tag. Normally, these are straightforward matters for the court, but this individual refuses to follow the usual legal process. Instead, he launches into arguments that are as unusual as they are frustrating, turning the hearing into a dramatic clash between fringe legal theories and established law. Right from the start, he insists that he was traveling and not driving, claiming that because of this distinction, the law doesn't apply to him. The judge and prosecutor exchange incredulous looks as they try to follow his logic, which grows more complex and implausible with each sentence. His tone is confident, almost smug, as if he has uncovered some secret loophole that exempts him from every traffic law. Every attempt by the judge to explain the charges or guide him toward a resolution is met with resistance, tangents, and reinterpretations of legal concepts that leave the courtroom on edge. Then he escalates his arguments, citing the 14th Amendment and insisting that it guarantees every citizen an unrestricted right to travel. He argues passionately that this right should allow him to operate a vehicle without interference from the police. At one point, he even claims that automobiles were part of the original intent of the amendment, referencing horse-drawn carriages as if modern cars had been imagined centuries ago. The prosecutor points out the obvious historical inconsistency: automobiles did not exist at the time, but the sovereign citizen continues, undeterred, weaving together a narrative that blends selective interpretations of law, historical references, and personal conviction. He further argues that because cars existed before driver's licenses were required, the entire licensing system is unconstitutional. He refuses to accept that laws evolve over time to address public safety concerns, insisting that any requirement to obtain a license is an infringement on his rights. The courtroom grows increasingly tense as the judge patiently attempts to explain why licenses exist, how traffic laws function, and why his arguments do not hold legal weight. Yet, he interrupts, reiterates his points, and challenges every explanation with the same unwavering certainty. Amid all this, he tries to negotiate fines and community service as though the courtroom were a marketplace. He asks for reductions, proposes alternatives, and treats the proceedings like a bargaining session rather than a legal hearing. The judge remains calm but firm, repeatedly trying to bring him back to reality, but each attempt is met with further tangents and arguments that seem to exist in a world entirely of his own making. The tension builds, and it becomes clear that no amount of reasoning will persuade him to comply. Every argument he makes, every claim he asserts, seems designed to frustrate and bewilder. Yet there is something captivating about the hearing, a sense of watching an extraordinary clash of ideas. The sovereign citizen's refusal to cooperate highlights not only the persistence of fringe legal beliefs but also the patience, authority, and restraint required by the court to handle such situations. The courtroom becomes a stage for the broader conflict between unconventional interpretations of rights and the reality of the legal system. Eventually, the hearing reaches its climax. Despite repeated efforts by the judge to resolve the case, the man refuses to acknowledge the authority of the court and ultimately walks out, leaving open the possibility of further legal consequences. His departure underscores the gulf between his personal beliefs and the established legal framework, and it leaves the courtroom with a sense of both frustration and disbelief. This video is a vivid demonstration of how far some individuals will go to challenge the system, and it provides a rare window into the extremes of the sovereign citizen movement. It shows how arguments about traveling versus driving, historical interpretations of the Constitution, and disputes over licenses can escalate into full-blown confrontations with real-world consequences. Every moment is tense, every claim is eyebrow-raising, and every interaction between the judge, prosecutor, and defendant illustrates the challenges faced when someone refuses to engage with the law in a conventional way. Watching this hearing is like observing a legal drama unfold in real time, where logic clashes with ideology, patience is tested, and the courtroom becomes a stage for extraordinary arguments that defy expectation. The sovereign citizen refuses to relent, refusing to accept fines, community service, or the authority of the court. And yet, through it all, the judge maintains composure, guiding the proceedings as best as possible, illustrating the balance between enforcement and fairness that the judicial system strives to uphold. In the end, the hearing serves as both a cautionary tale and a fascinating spectacle. It highlights the persistence of fringe legal theories, the patience required to navigate them, and the reality that personal beliefs cannot override established law. It's a confrontation that stretches beyond simple legal disputes, offering a glimpse into the extremes of human conviction, the challenges of enforcing rules, and the extraordinary moments that can unfold when ordinary court proceedings meet unconventional interpretations of the law. The entire session is a masterclass in tension, frustration, and the collision of ideology with reality, leaving viewer both amazed and bewildered by the lengths some will go to defend their personal view of the law.